Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Laniece. I am a registered nurse in the state of North Carolina, and I do these cool little nursing videos. If you're not new here, thank you so much for tuning in to another video. I hope that means that you have been subscribed to my channel, If you haven't already, whether you're new or old, please go ahead and subscribe, y'all. I'm really working on a goal of trying to gain a good following here, so I just don't feel like I'm wasting my time. No, I'm just playing. I really do love doing YouTube videos, so it's more for me anyway, but I would love to gain some subscribers here, y'all. So if you would, please subscribe. If you do like the content, please watch more of my videos, like this video, share it with your friends that are into nursing, because today is going to be a nursing video. So I am one of the type of people, well, first, you guys can see I'm in my car. I can't find my camera tripod, so I figured I would just record in the car today, because I really couldn't find anywhere to set up in my home. But anyways, if you are like me and you kind of keep up with social media and you kind of keep up with celebrity gossip, you have seen that recently the cause of death for Kevin Samuels, Mr. Dating Coach himself, has been released, and it was said that he did pass away from hypertension, which is something that I see all the time. I am currently a cardiac telemetry nurse. From August of last year to May of this year, I was a med-surg travel nurse, and I did complete 3 assignments. So I have seen a lot of hypertension. That's what I see every day. Just seen it last night at work. So one thing that we all know, one thing that we will learn in nursing school, if you haven't already been through nursing school, is that African American people are more prevalent to getting hypertension, which also leads to things like congestive heart failure, heart disease, all sorts of heart issues. All start with something small that can be managed, which is hypertension. So today, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. I had nothing against that man. I ain't gonna lie, some of the stuff that he said, I was like, sounded kind of like it made sense. So, I do understand that he did do a lot of bashing of black women. I do not stand for that. I am a very beautiful, dark-skinned black woman myself. So anything colorist, anything that goes against the black women, I do not stand for it. However, he did make a few points. And however, I don't wish death on anybody. That is not something that I want to see. That is not something that I want my family to have to go through anytime soon. So I don't wish it on anybody else. However, seeing that this man, who seemingly seemed pretty healthy, passed away from hypertension, I said, you know what, let me do a video today on why African Americans are more prevalent, why African Americans do have the highest rate of hypertension, and why it affects our community so bad, and just a few things that we can do to prevent it. This will not be a long video, but I just feel like it's something that we need to start the discussion on. So I will first start with, what is hypertension? Okay, so I am a WebMD type of girl, because usually if you search anything, that's the first thing that comes up. So according to WebMD, hypertension is a condition in which the force of the blood against the artery walls is too high. It's also known as high blood pressure. Hypertension, anything over a blood pressure of 140 over 90 is considered hypertension, and it is considered severe whenever you reach anything above 180 over 120. That is severely high blood pressure, honey. If I see that, honey, I'm going to get the car. I'm going to get whatever is prescribed, the hydralazine, the carvedilol, whatever is prescribed, baby, you gonna get it. So that is what hypertension is. It's basically, it's high blood pressure. But one of the main reasons that African American people are more susceptible to high blood pressure, of course, is due to socioeconomic status. A lot of African Americans do not have health insurance, which means we do not have access to good health care, which means we do not have access to the medications that we need, and it's also due to diet. but I will go in order here. So one reason that I found to be probably the most interesting, because I had never heard of it, that people or that researchers have hypothesized that could be one of the causes for high blood pressure in African Americans is called the slavery hypertension hypothesis. Now, of course, there's no way of testing this because no one can go back and do research, on slaves, unfortunately. But what the slavery hypertension hypothesis says is that there was an enhanced ability to conserve salt by slaves to help prevent salt depletive issues or diseases, which means African Americans possess the ability to, they gained over time during slave trade, the ability to store more salt in their bodies to help prevent them from having vomiting, diarrhea, things of that nature, things that cause you to lose a lot of salt and lose a lot of fluid, to help protect. It was a protection mechanism to help them make it through the slave trade whenever they were going through the Atlantic Passage, on slavery, on boats. It is said that African Americans did possess the ability to retain more salt, therefore they can retain more fluids and not have as much vomiting, diarrhea, things of that nature. Okay, I think it's telling me my camera's getting a little hot because it is in the sun. I hope that's not what's going on here, but we'll see. Anyways, so this hypothesis also goes into why African Americans may have hypertension nowadays, because being that they were able to hold and retain more salt for those reasons, they also, once they got to America and they ate foods that were higher in salt, the American food, I use quotation marks because, baby, this ain't America. I mean, they can name it what they wanted to name it, but we won't go there. But once they got to America and they started eating foods that they weren't used to, that had a higher salt content, then that led to issues with hypertension, because then they had excessive amounts of salt, which causes fluid restriction, which causes fluid retainment, and which leads to hypertension sometimes. Move inside. I had to move inside because my camera did overheat sitting in the window like that. So back to what I was saying. Another reason that, like I stated before, African Americans are more likely to have hypertension, of course, is due to exposure, socioeconomics, and which includes socioeconomic status. African Americans, as I said before, a lot of us don't have access to good health care. A lot of us do not have access to medications, good doctors, and also because of diet. Whenever you are in a low income, you kind of have to take what you can get as far as food and diet. And whenever you're trying to eat healthy, it's not always the most expensive to buy fruits and vegetables. Usually produce is probably some of the most cheapest groceries. But another thing is that soul food was passed down to us from slavery. When we were slaves, we were getting scraps. We were getting the parts from the animals that the master and his family did not want. We were having to make something out of nothing. And that's kind of where soul food came from. Like, we had to learn how to season our food and make it taste good, which included lots of salts, lots of different seasonings. So we just typically don't eat very healthy. Which is something that I don't know too many Black people who just normally were taught to eat healthy at a very young age. But our diets are a huge reason as to why we are more susceptible to having hypertension. Another reason is medications that normally work on Caucasian Americans, blood pressure, heart medications, do not typically work on African Americans. A lot of studies that are performed that these pharmaceutical companies, the trials that they do to get medications onto the market are not, African Americans aren't participating in these studies. And our bodies do not work how everyone else's bodies work. I'm not a physician. I cannot get into detail, but it's just a general fact, you know? So a lot of medications that are given for hypertension do not work on African Americans. A lot of African American patients that I have seen have to go through multiple medications before they find one that works for them. Also, exercise. African Americans we have the highest obesity rate also. I don't want to say, oh, we don't like to exercise, because I don't want to fall into that stereotype. I love to exercise. I'm going to exercise as soon as I leave here. But I understand that everybody is not athletic. That is a certain trait or quality that I have that's in my genetics, but it's not in everyone's genetics. But we don't exercise, which is a great way to keep blood pressure levels down. So another factor that goes into why African Americans are more likely to have hypertension is stress. Whenever you're unable to afford medication because you do not have great health insurance, whenever you're living in a low income home and you cannot afford groceries and you kind of have to make do with whatever you have, and whenever you do get medications that just don't work for you, damn it, you're gonna be stressed. You're gonna be stressed. So, but stress plays a major part in the whole function of your body. Stress causes depression. Stress causes heart disease. Stress causes hypertension, you know? So African Americans, I don't know how else to say it, but we are probably the most stressed out of everybody. I know everybody's like, oh yeah, right, my life is stressful, but no. Try being black in America. That shit is fucking stressful, okay? So piggybacking off of what I said earlier about medications, typically African Americans having to try different medications before they find one that does work for their hypertension. Once they make it there, once they get diagnosed with hypertension, is the lack of medication compliance. African Americans are the highest population in non-compliance, and a large part of that is because we do not trust the healthcare system here in America. That is another video for another day, but it does play a huge part in why we do have a lot of the diseases like diabetes and hypertension, congestive heart failure. All of those fall under a large umbrella. Whenever it comes to African Americans, we are more susceptible for all of those things, and a large reason for that is because we're least likely to comply with what our physicians tell us, because we don't trust our physicians. Physicians don't listen to us whenever we are in the hospital, and that makes us not want to listen to them. You know, it's a very, very low level of trust in our healthcare system. Y'all know I'm not gonna come to you with a problem without giving you a solution. So how can we help prevent high blood pressure or lower our blood pressure if we have already been diagnosed with high blood pressure? No. First things first would be diet. Start eating fruits, vegetables, foods that are low in sodium. Cut back on the salt, cut back on the canned goods because they contain a lot of sodium. Cut back on the TV dinners. We have to start reading labels. I had a friend tell me that not too long ago, like, you have to start reading your food labels because you're assuming things are healthy. And if you turn over on the food label, it's got more salt intake it has more salt intake in a serving than you're supposed to have in a day. So your diet, let's start with working on our diet. Now, don't get me wrong, soul food, I love soul food, but we can't eat it all the time. It cannot be our go-to meals all the time, y'all. We got to get our diets right. So next would be exercise. And when I say exercise, you don't have to go to the gym and lift weights, do cardio, all that stuff. Just getting out and getting a 30-minute walk in every day is great for managing blood pressure. So exercise. Medication compliance. I know that we do not trust our physicians, and I'm a very big advocate on finding black dentists, black doctors, black whatever type of provider you're looking for. Definitely search for those, but we have to be compliant with our medications. I understand our mistrust in the healthcare system 100%. However, we can't you know, be prescribed medications and not take them and expect us to get any better. And hypertension is known as the silent killer, baby. And next, I would say would be frequent blood pressure checks. You guys, get you a blood pressure cuff. You can find one at the CVS, Walmart, anywhere with a pharmacy. Get you a blood pressure cuff and check your blood pressure once a week, once every 2 weeks, just to keep an eye on it, because a lot of people don't even know that they have high blood pressure. That's why it is known as the silent killer. So I did not want this video to be long. I just wanted to be something that got you guys thinking. If you want more information on hypertension or anything, you know, I'll be more than glad to do the research for you guys, and I'll do more videos for it. I do hope that this video was informational and you got something from it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here so I can go get my exercise in and go get my diet together, because I need to go grocery shopping. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you are into nursing, please, like I said in the beginning of the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share. I really appreciate all the love. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. If you didn't catch it in the beginning, my name is Laniece, and peace. I'm out.